Hello, my name is Paul Wady and I have been to 10 Edinburgh Fringes so far in my life, the first of which was 1985, and it was a very different thing. It was this great big university love-in, all these middle-class graduate intellectuals, all the professional theatre companies, all the companies from the universities, dearie me. Came back in 2013, it was very different. Thanks to Peter Buckley Hill, we had the free Fringes. Which was marvellous because it meant that anyone, any old people like me, could turn up and do our thing in the free fringe venues. So I'd like to make a guide from my experience of doing that and of being an autistic person. In my case, a very out autistic person, because I walk around wearing t-shirts like this all the time. I have a collection of them because I wanted to see what would happen if I did that. I wanted to promote neurodiversity on the fringe. I wanted to say it's okay to be autistic. I wanted to stop lying, which is very much the essence of what I do, apart from the whole thing's just an excuse for Buddhism, really. It's all a Buddhist ritual of developing loving kindness in yourself and the audience and making everyone self-aware, which is very significant to what I've got to say in this film about self-love, of finding a positive relationship with yourself. That is the big secret of survival, big secret of mental health, I think. And also the whole point of life, really. You wake up in the morning to be glad to be awake, and as autistic people we don't often have that. So first of all, so you are brave enough to go up. That's right. Get on that train and end up at Waverley if you don't live in the area already. For a month each year, the whole of the dead centre of Edinburgh is taken over by thousands of people walking around, another show, desperate for entertainment. They want to be moved. They want to have a substantial experience in life. You go in there, you got your sensory, baby. The noise, oh boy, the noise, you can wear earplugs. Listen, I go to events there and I wear these ear protectors. Oh, joy and happiness. You can wear a baseball cap, cut out the light. Headphones, you can have your headphones on, headphones on. You can have your wireless earplugs in. So you can look like an ordinary neurotypical, but in fact you're doing the sensory thing. A friend of mine filters through her phone. And then lastly, you don't have to touch anything. You don't have to talk to anyone as well. But if you're a performer, and that's who this film is aimed at, I think you should talk to people. I think you should make a lot of friends and relate your experience as much as you can. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the sensory experience. Don't remind me I'm going bold, very sensitive. Welcome to Hell, I've written. That's really going to promote the idea of doing, I can't wait to get to do a show on the Edinburgh Fringe. It's really okay. It may be loud, it may seem aggressive, but actually if you talk to the individuals around you, they're cool. You talk to the general public, they're great. You talk to the performers, they want to support you because they want to support themselves because they know what it's like. There's no shame in being overwhelmed. Got to say that from the offset. If you feel overwhelmed and it's too much to handle, you're not a failure. You're having a perfectly rational response to what is obviously an extremely dangerous environment in terms of sensory, as we understand sensory. If you want to walk down the street, stimming, by the way, you stim because you will see me in the streets. Stimony, making my gestures, and to hell with the rest of them, because you are a performer and you're brave enough to get up there and rock and roll. So you damn well make your stimming gestures, baby. I have met so many neurodiverse people on the fringe. You name the neurodiversity and they're up there. They always have been up there. When I first did it, an award-winning comedian said to me, he reckons 75% of the people there was something. He was dyslexic. Because my theory of everything is that what you get diagnosed is the tip of the iceberg that you can see, but what's going on that doesn't get diagnosed, it looks neurotypical, is under the waterline of the iceberg. It's all hidden, it's all masking, social skills, maturity, you see? It's all character, personality, intelligence. All these things we use to survive in the neurotypical world. And you're going to Edinburgh to expose yourself, to say, look, this is what I am. You're going to stand in front of an audience and tell the truth. And that's the big secret for audiences and performing. For me, it's being somebody who, no matter, despite the fear, and everyone's scared, don't worry, will actually reveal that kind of psychological boy or burlesque. I have witnessed some very, very brave autistic people in my life, okay, going out and doing that. I remember when I first started training for the National Autistic Society, because I worked for them for nearly 18 years, and I'd go out in front of an audience for half an hour and talk about being me. I'd spend the rest of the day in shock. People usually either sleep it off or drink it off. I slept it off. But I was literally just shattered. And I talked to other people who've had the same experience. So if you have done a few shows of your piece and you go up there and you get a good house, get an ordinary house, get ordinary reaction, you could come out of it in shock. Shock is a thing. I've had shock from doing shows. Because I started when I was 18, long ago in ye olde days. And I've had shock. And the way to get rid of it, you can have a drink and then go back to where you're staying, or if you smoke, you could smoke, but we're going to come to that later. You mustn't do those things if you can help it, or if you do them in moderation, because there's the slippery slope. You start using them as a crutch. It's a stress situation. I start drinking Iron Brew Extras all the time. Everybody does something, man. You see another performer, they're drinking away, I swear, that's their process. They may actually know exactly what they're doing with that drink. Anyway, there's the points. So that's sensory, really. You can make adjustments, and you can have reasonable adjustments made for yourself. Ask the people in the venues to turn the lights down. You don't have to have lights blasting in your eyes. You're so strong and brave. No, do something about those bloody things, or wear sunglasses. Work it into the act. Explain to people, and the audiences will be considerate to you. Pit stops. One of my big strategies in life is preemption of when I'm overloaded. I didn't know I was autistic until I was 41. How did I cope? How did I handle it? I spent all my 30s in a Buddhist movement, which is why I feel I have any authority to make a film like this or tell anyone what to think and feel, because I've managed to so successfully survive the way I have. Go to the toilet. Use a cubicle. Spend a few minutes in there just coming down when you don't think you need it. Preempt, okay? Do stuff to chill out, even if you don't think you need to chill out. So build it up. A routine I used to do, so I'm on 1 till 2 this year, 2025, so you basically try and get as much rest as you can in the mornings, and you're up, jar, man. You're out there, and you are flying away, and you fly, make positive eye contact with people. I personally don't chase them down the street, though I have tried. I once chased somebody with a dog, tried to get him to take the flyer. I was on the Cowgate, someone went past and opened my car, and I managed to get them to take. I love flyering. You can see me there making a total fool of myself flyering. I route myself to the spot, and I kind of take my flyer, take my flyer, please, I can't move. This is the flyer you've been looking for. You want this flyer. This is the flyer that bestows great bliss. Just make a joke of it, but try and engage the audience positively, because then you are positive, okay? You've got to develop positivity all the way through this experience. When you face the general public, find something beautiful. As a Buddhist, I'm just going, may you all be happy and well all the time, trying to wish love on everyone around me. That's the only way Buddhists think you should relate to everybody else. So, having done a bit of flyering, you then get to your venue. Oh, some poor performer or two or three or four is trying to get out, you're trying to get in. You then set up. Just as you're trying to go on, I bet you somebody tries to ask you a 500-word question. You basically make sure people in the venue know you need a space, if you need a space. That's the main point. Assert yourself. Can you hear the plane going off? That, my friends, is Edinburgh. Just when you're trying to make a point like that, a plane goes over. That's one reason why I'm in the garden with the birds singing, and the plane's going over and the neighbours calling to the dog. It's to say that's what it's like in Edinburgh, yeah? We're in Nairn right now, in my back garden. And I'm very lucky to have a back garden. I'm lucky to have a lot of things. I spend a lot of my money, and I have the time to do Edinburgh. It doesn't mean I'm going to have the money in the future, by the way, or the time, or the physical health at my age. So I have to preempt my physical energy. And there I am. I've set up quite a complicated setup for the Eccentrics return show with an easel and all these cards and all sorts of stuff I've got to get together, and a PA and music, and then you expect people to come. You're going through all of this, and then you've got to do a 45-minute set. Some of you are lucky, you just got to do stand-up. count yourselves lucky, okay? So what do you do then before they come in? I'll tell you what, you can lie down, if you can calmly breathe into your lower body, just ground yourself, do whatever process you have that chills you out. Think of beautiful things, don't think of the show, think of whatever, whoever you really like and love, but try to get a positive hit. It could be, I have a glass of iced water that I hit all the way through because I get a dry throat. And then when you do your show, they've always said the same thing since I was 18. They've always said the same thing. All the plays I've done, shows I've done. Pace yourself. You're going to go like this. Oh my God, I'm doing the show. I got the first one, the second point. No. Chill. Let them savor you. This is your space, your heart. You're in charge. All right? This is yours. Used to have a theatre company called Stealth Aspers. The idea of it was a collection of autistic people on stage. When one of us would come forward to speak, it was their show. Two of us come forward to speak, it's their show. That was the idea. It was like it was a company that facilitated micro shows, because when autistics do things, it's all about them. So we didn't have a director. It was just that each individual autistic would have their own way of doing whatever part they did. Okay. Now when you're finished, you've got to come down. You might have had a good set, in which case, yeah, and you come out, do the bucket collection, or it's a ticket collection, tickets, and you're like, yeah. And then, after all that, let's have a look. Oh, let's have a look who's been in touch. Just get an email from Alex, who does Laughing Course. I'm so influential. Ooh, I mean something in life. Ooh, I've got an email from the organiser. Ooh, I've known him for years. He's a brilliant bloke. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm afraid on Edinburgh, you are no longer the big fish in the small pond. You are just one more performer. Ooh, oh dear. And there's people in the assembly rooms making a fortune. There's one performer, Troy, who plays, I think it's Troy McClure, who does the greeting thing. And he started on the free Fringe, and then he got on the ticketed Fringe, and then last year he did one show, which was in the big hall they have there. It will take up to 3,000 people. And that's it. And that's progression. What are your goals? I'll tell you what your goals are. If you're Edinburgh, it's to do that Edinburgh. It's just to be there, do that. Every show you do, you're not thinking, I wish I was in a bigger venue, I wish I got more people. Because I did a run of my show in 2016, I get like 2 or 3 people, got one person once, but who cares, because that one person used to design costumes for Doctor Who. So you get 3 people, fine, talk to 3 people. Because one thing you're doing if you just started is developing your skill as a performer. And I always talk about mileage. You've got to get in front of that audience and give it 110%. My American friends that I've known, you know, Americans, when they get in front of an audience, they give it 200%. The standard with Americans is extraordinary. You want to watch American performers, those guys. All you Americans out there, I have nothing but respect, because I tell you, you put the British people in, we think we work hard, we think we're sincere. Every American I see, it's like, whoa, you're really jumping out of a plane, with or without a parachute. So go and see American performers if I you. I've always been very impressed with them, because it's the English-speaking world. I want to see people from all over the world. I want to be taken to worlds that have nothing to do with me. For once in my life, I want to stop thinking about myself. Another good tip. So you've finished your show and you're sitting there going, that was really good. You could be in trouble. Could be overstimulated. You want to go flying, or do you want to have a break? Maybe go and see someone else's show. Go and see someone else's show you consider to cut back quietly. Not be a loony like me, because I always sit in the front. Because I like dialoguing with the acts if they want. Some call it heckling. try to keep quiet, only speak when spoken to. Just can't stop performing, darling. But look after yourself afterwards. If you've got a venue, you find a quiet spot in that venue, you go and hide in the cubicles and the toilets and do it. Use a 5-minute timer on your phone, your watch. Just bring yourself, give it a few minutes to chill. You might want to go right back to where you're living, stay there for the rest of the day, miss the whole festival, and just concentrate on your performance. Let me tell you a story. Kevin Rowlands of Dexy's Midnight Runner wouldn't speak to anyone on a tour that my friend saw him on. He spent the whole thing in silence, got up on stage, gave it a belting set of like 2-3 hours of singing, and that was it. So my mate met him in the dressing room, and he just made these gestures and smiled, and he wouldn't actually say anything. What a pro, because he had to protect his throat. 1 year, everyone was on the Strepsils because all our throats went. There was a virus going around. There's also something called fringe flu you can get when you've got fringe flu. Don't let that put you off. It's, I'm being heckled by pigeons. They're up there. Bloody pigeons. Bloody pigeons. All sorts could go wrong in terms of your health. We're going to come to that later. But don't let these things put you off. Just go home, self-care. If your Edinburgh Fringe is nothing but not talking to anyone and just doing your set, doing your flyering, or even just doing your set, and then that's okay. But what kind of shows did you have? Did you give it 100%? Were you sincere with the audience? Did you develop a sense of what you were doing? Because you've got a chance, not just to workshop and run in your shows, but to really go into yourself. He says, it's a very spiritual thing for me. It's like, it's Buddhist. So, yeah. There was one occasion when my friend had come to stay with me, and I couldn't show him, the Cowgate where all the action was. I was just lying on the bed all day. I couldn't move because I was so wiped out. That's okay. That may happen. Okay, just the play's the thing. The play's the thing, and everything else is peripheral. So. Other performers are your friends. They're all in the same boat. You get talking to other performers in your venue, in the street and flyering. Just get talking to anyone. I always do. I talk to everyone. We have Bar 50. That's my little home. And Laughing Horse and I call it the Access Bar. And we have all these benches outside. It's in the Cowgate. And you can just chill out and hang out with anyone, performers, and have a laugh. And listen to me talking about myself. Sorry. And talk about yourself. You can get a word in edgeways, I might hear you. But that's the point. Other performers, if you support them, they'll support you. And all you got to do is support them and say, hey, how are you? It's a few simple words. Just don't jump on top of them. Just say, well, how's it going? Okay. And you can make some really good friends and be with some really cool people, because we're all going through the same thing. I have a lot of stuff to say, and my camera's going to fall off. They may not come to your shows, You might have a whole run, and if anyone comes, it's a miracle, and otherwise the place would be empty. The more people don't come, the more you flyer, the more you rest, and the more you come back with a resolve. That is a professional. If it puts you off, and it hurts you, and it damages you, well, it's not a failure, it's just you're not made for it. I'm sorry, but it's just not your thing. It's rough, tough stuff in showbiz. You live for the feedback of the audience. The audience is validating you as a person. Do they laugh? Are they moved? I've had a lot of shows where audiences are sitting there like it's a cemetery, like somebody's just died. You could hear a tumbleweed go across, and I just play to the gallery. I have fallen into that, but now I'm just trying to tell the truth. Just be more sort of, well, here I am, look, I'm trying to make you laugh. Look, here I am, look, I'm trying to be sincere. It takes a bit of growing up. It's a hell of a thing to do. But again, there's no shame in feeling, well, this isn't for me, I can't handle this. Because it's funny, now I talk about giving up. I didn't talk about it before, but it's one thing. If you can't do a whole month of enduring that, then you're doing the right thing getting out, but carry on. Talk to other performers, talk to your friends and family, your partners, carry on, and you'll break through to good houses. Or you'll break through to one person in the audience who says, that was great. I mean, how many do you want? 1? 1,000? I used to work for Really Useful Theatres. I got free tickets for all the shows, so I was in the Palladium. It's like 3,000 people in the Palladium. Nobody in that audience said well done to the acts. They just applauded. They were there, paid a lot of money. But the point is that you get more feedback and more positivity out of one person in the audience than you would out the whole of the Palladium, because they'll talk to you. Audiences are your friends. All right, they've come, they're giving you a chance. Every audience gives you a chance. Give them a chance. Give the audience a chance. So they might not react the way you want. You may have to completely change your idea of how people should relate to you. They might say nothing all the way through, and then at the end, oh, that was really good. And you're like, you looked like you hated it. It looked like you were going to die. You were talking to your friend all the way to, and yet they really enjoyed it. Yeah, they might have listened to like 10 minutes of a 45-minute set because they're in their heads, or to the person next to them. No, they do that. Yet, that might have been a really good show for them. You got to worry about those expectations of shows. Take it on board and work with it. You've got to really go with whatever happens to you and grow on top of that. And if you're made for this kind of thing, you'll come back stronger. Well, when I say stronger, I mean you just have more of a sense of performing. And I mean, what is it you're doing on that stage, really? Personally, I'm motivated by a horrible experience I had of being lied about in a polytechnic. I don't need validation. I don't need audiences to laugh about me. I just want people to know I'm not kind of psychotic and insane. The rest of my personality is something I can't really help. Don't give up. Safe spaces. Go to Fringe Central. You want a nice quiet room. If they don't have a quiet room, go to a church. I'm not kidding. Go to places of worship. They're brilliant for that. The back of the Pret a Manger on, is it George IV Bridge, was a wonderful one. As it goes over, there's a cross, there's a church on one side, there's a Pret a Manger on the other, and you go down to, I think, the Scotsman newspaper, and then you hit Waverley, the bridge over Waverley Station. That was always a good place. Look for cafes, a bit pricey, but you can find these safe spaces. Okay? There are plenty of places. You can just find a back alley and hang out there. You can just find a pub. Just hide in a pub. You can leave the bubble of the Edinburgh Fringe altogether. You can get very intense and incestuous. It might be a good idea, even if you think you're having a hard time, to reorientate once a week at least, and just walk down the road till you're not in it anymore. Anticlimax land. Go up Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat is great for performers going up there. Oh, getting some breath. When I get to Edinburgh, I'm going to spend a few days this year orientating and just getting as far up Arthur's Seat as I can and just sitting there for hours on it and having my little micro solar retreat. So I found that very beneficial. When I went there last year, I was absolutely scrambled by it. In meditation, you disintegrate. You're all over the place. Then you reintegrate at the end of the process. And you rebuild yourself. And when I got there, I was kind of like sitting. I remember one time sitting there for quite a while. When I first went, like the first or second day, pretty shell-shocked. Just being in Edinburgh, just being in another place. And that's another factor. You can get really disorientated doing a show in Edinburgh. Take care of yourself. Talk to somebody else. Fringe Central, they have people who can help you if you need proper counselling and psychiatric care. There are plenty of people in Edinburgh who will totally understand if you need proper counselling and psychiatric care. If you feel you're at crisis point, listen, you're doing something most members of the population can't do. You are very, very brave, and I salute you. Gladiators, I salute you. Oliver Reed, major role model of mine, alpha male. Dyslexic. So, food and drink. Yeah, if you drink, pace yourself. P-A-C-E. Pace yourself. Don't go getting yourself smashed every night. Oh, I had a brilliant night. Next morning, at some point, you've got a show to do, okay? You're there on business, guys. Okay, if you've got a day off, get smashed on the night before, so you're going to perform with a hangover. People can see it, yeah? If you smoke, again, moderation if that's part of your process. You know what I mean by smoking. If you take things, again, always have an eye to being in a certain state of focus, which you will develop as you go on through the run. As a performer, your process. So you got to focus everything around the show each day. really. I mean, it is a holiday. If you can handle that, then you can have a holiday. Yeah, but some people I know, a lot of caffeine, a lot of booze, boom, boom, boom. Oh, then on the stage. But then there's always some young people who can do all of that, and they can rage hard, and then they're on that stage like nothing's happened. I know. You'll have a meltdown. You'll have a panic attack. You'd have a nervous breakdown. I had an almighty panic attack. It was an hour before my show in 2002. Walked into the venue, my heart goes bang, 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 bang. I've got a Apple Watch now just to monitor my heart. And I got to the venue, tried flying, like God, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock before. I had to sit on the seat. 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock I was performing, and my heart wouldn't stop doing this. There are lights flashing in my eyes. I'm dizzy, right? My heart is going boom, boom, boom. My heart is something like 150 or something, 160. I mean, it was dangerous heart rate. Eventually, after the show, I couldn't calm down, and I went to casualty. And it was only sitting in and I had to get a bus to a hospital outside of Edinburgh. And then I'm sitting in there till, and I'm not joking, by the time they got round to me, it was 4 a.m, because they knew what they were doing and just left me to calm down. And they tested me for, I've done a blood works on me anyway, so they knew there wasn't a heart attack, so they left me. At 4 a.m, I'm okay, I wish them all the best, lovely people. I had to get a taxi back. Next day, I couldn't perform, because being a fool, I hadn't factored in days off. I always have a Monday off now. Always have a day off. Always have a day off. Amen. My friend George, bless you and save you, he stands on that door and he tells people I can't make it because he's doing his show next door at another time. Because what it was to have a wingman, what it was to have a good friend, my mate George Steeves, Mr. 10 out of 10. He'd come in at the end of my shows and do the bucket collection. I am frazzled, I am wiped out. I mean, that's the worst part of the show, is when you finish, and my mate was there. To have a friend or people who support you is just like, wow. No wonder Lou Reed wrote a song called My Friend George. George is a brilliant. Okay. So you're going to crash. You're going to feel something. It's going to happen to you. When it does, you know what to do, because you've got your space to go to where you're staying. You've got your little tactics to get you there by having a break on the journey, believe it or not. And you might need comfort food. Fine. Eat its food. Watch the other things. And then you get back and you chill out. And if you're at crisis point, there are phone numbers you can find. Go to Fringe Central website. They're right on top of this. Okay? You are not alone. The next thing I was going to say is, it's just not the only performers. Think of other performers. Try to make friends. Just try to hang out with others. Support others. And magically, it will support you supporting other people, okay? I am glad to see the people who work in Bar 50 venue every year. I love those guys. They're just really sincere, genuine people who just want to be straightforward with you. Scottish people, they're very direct. We should all be like that, but we're not. We're English. Certainly me, I spend my life playing games with people because I'm terrified. So always, always, always have nothing but respect for the Scottish people, all right? Because they've got X-ray eyes. They're very clever people. Don't always, that's their home you're in. I say, I'm Jock. I'm from London. Oh, don't be like me. So think of others. And then the weird note I made, try to see your ego in relation to everyone else. Sorry, but you're no longer the big fish in the small pond, as I said. You're really going to get a sense of perspective on what you're doing, and you should react to that just by being more sort of grounded in yourself and just how much you're doing and how far you really go. And if someone's having a hard time, you give them a hand. So, in conclusion, I mean, just go and see lots of random shows. Okay, take on board whole new experiences, because for me, you never know what the real peak of the Fringe is going to be. One year, I went to see the Absolute Jam, who are 3 guys who just do covers of all the Jam songs, and that was the peak. Yeah. Other times, I can name different performers. Troy McClure was a fantastic performer. Milo McCabe. to see somebody who could improvise that well and who could actually work out the numbers in Scrabble blocks of people's names, and it's just amazing with an audience, a mind like that. And I've seen some great performers, some fascinating performers. I've seen performers pull it off. I've seen performers fail. I've seen performers make an awful job of it, as far as I'm concerned. One friend of mine did a show, and I saw it once, and oh my God! Then I went back to film it on another, and I couldn't even look at the screen, the stage, because it was so unique. But they're still going. They won't stop. They're still going. It's just brilliant. That's what it takes. I've had 1-star reviews. I've had horrible things written about me a long time ago. And then I came back with my show, and the Guardian Independent said they won't go near it because it's like the cutting-edge autistic advocacy show. And of course it's me going on about myself. And I'll leave you with a little anecdote about when a performer goes on about themselves and just talks about himself on stage. I had this girlfriend, Heather, and Heather was lovely and is still a dear friend, but we split up, and one reason was she said, well, you're always talking about yourself non-stop. All over here is you going on about yourself, and I considered this, because I really loved her, and do love her, I always will. And I thought about this effect it was having on my friend. And eventually I came back to her and said, well, it's a fascinating subject.